tired out I am. I think I've accidentally done 2 runs in a row. I normally run every other day. I've got a feeling I ran yesterday and today. Did 3 miles today, which is nearly 5 kilometres. That's not bad, is it? Still, it's tired me out. Yeah, there we go. And I haven't got time to be tired because it's all go. We've got our comeback print issue on the go, and at the end of next week we've got to send it off to press to get printed and distributed and everything. So if you want to have a look at it, we'll put pictures up here. If you want to subscribe to our new issue, our first print issue back in circulation since since the April-May issue, I think. April-May issue last year we brought out, and then we haven't done anything since except digital issues. This is our first print one back. So subscribe if you can, £7.50 or £12 for 6 month or 12 month digital only. Or if you want the print issue, it's $20.99 for a year and you get free digital thrown in. Or it's $36.99, I believe it is, for 2 years and you get digital thrown in for 2 years. So there we go. Now, this morning I want to talk about an opinion piece that Susan Elkin has submitted for us for this next issue, which is going to be really interesting. Now, if you didn't know, Susan Elkin has a wealth of knowledge in the theatre industry. From 2005 to 2016, she was education and training editor at the Stage newspaper, and now she specialises in arts education, and she does lots of reviews for Sardines and lots of features. And this is an opinion feature that she's been chomping at the bit to get put down, because it's like everyone, journalists have been scratching their heads like everyone in the theatre industry. But she's put a bit together, a brilliant piece together, and I'm going to read it all to you because I think it's all worth reading. And it's all about amateur theatre, and I know we don't like to mix politics with theatre here at Sardines, but Susan does that, and there's no choice really, because the two are intrinsically linked. Because whatever the government decides, the theatre has to follow, and we're following the government's rules. So this is Susan's piece. Amateur theatre operates on a wide range of levels, and the government seems to understand none of them. It's worse than shifting goalposts. It's like trying to play football on a very bumpy sloping pitch from which the goalposts have been carried off and put in storage. And just to cut in there, just very, very, very briefly, this new Indian strain is threatening to move the goalposts, isn't it? I do believe that Monday's big date, 17th of May, is going to stay in place, but they're talking about the June 21st date now perhaps being put on pause, but we'll have to see how we go in the meanwhile. Back to Susan. First, amateur theatre making is a club experience for participants who typically pay a fee for membership of a local drama or operatic society. For many, it's a crucial, integral part of life, an entire social life for people who rehearse together twice a week, more as shows loom, and then work together for several days during the run. And that's true, isn't it? To have been deprived of this for the best part of 2 years by the pandemic, or the management of it, has for many been devastating. In some cases it's been worse than not being allowed to see family. Second, it provides live theatre at affordable prices in the community. People who wouldn't or couldn't afford to travel to, say, a West End show will buy a ticket to see the Anytown Drama Society's production of Blithe Spirit, or the producers, because, quotes, they always put on a good show. It's just round the corner and it's affordable. Or maybe it's because a family member, friend, or work colleague is involved in the production and he or she must be supported. Moreover, many a child gets a first taste of live theatre this way. Years ago, some of my earliest theatre experiences were seeing G&S courtesy of Lewisham Operatic Society at Broadway Theatre in Catford, and various musicals at the Old New Theatre Bromley, which has long since been demolished and replaced by the Churchill Theatre, performed by Ravensbourne Operatic Society. None of this has been possible or available now for 18 months, and counting. It adds up to tens of thousands of missed audiences' experiences. Third, amateur theatre links up with other community organisations. Local non-pro orchestras whose activity has also been suspended for many months, often providing some or all of the players for the pit bands which accompany musicals staged by amateur operatic companies or musical companies. Shops and businesses in the area are frequently involved in and credited for the provision of props and other items. Businesses nearby sometimes sponsor and or advertise the shows too. It's a complex network of mutually supportive relationships. Fourth, many professional companies have developed Zoom, YouTube and other technologies so that they can deliver a watch-at-home facility. And their actors, of course, have been allowed to rehearse in lockdown because they are at work. This is not available to amateur groups who may not have the technological capacity and who aren't allowed to meet because they're in this for the love of it rather than to earn a living. Absolutely true. But alas, it seems that neither Boris Johnson nor any of his associates have ever taken part in amateur drama or music making because it has been consistently undervalued and glossed over since the first lockdown in March 2020. Making Music reckons, that's a company, Making Music reckons that around 500,000 people are normally involved in non-pro music making. It's probably 10 times that for drama. Probably. Yes, the government has occasionally wrung its hands about professional theatre's plight. Prominent high-profile activists such as Andrew Lloyd Webber have worked hard to push that, but many hundreds of thousands of amateurs have been left high and dry. It's true, isn't it? No good, they're saying. Okay, you can stage a show after 17th of May or 21st of June at the moment, but we won't tell you definitely until immediately before. It takes months to stage an amateur show because participants have day jobs too and rehearsal time is limited. How, Messrs Johnson, Sunak and Hancock, are we meant to conduct auditions for an amateur show if we're not allowed more than 6 people or 2 households in a room at once? Many amateur companies work with and pay for professional directors. How can you book one when there's so much uncertainty thanks to excessive government caution? Good ones usually have to be nailed well in advance. You can't set it up at 2 weeks' notice, but no one in the decision-making, guidance, devising government departments has a clue about that. The rules about COVID safety in churches, halls and other venues that many of us meet in make it very difficult indeed to convene in a space to rehearse. I play in an amateur orchestra which rehearses in a church, and we're back in reduced social distance numbers this month with instructions not to mingle and to keep chatting to a minimum. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? I don't see how you can rehearse a play under such conditions. Then there's working with performance venues. I know one amateur company which is having a real tussle with the pro venue it stages its shows in. The latter wants something really popular to pull the crowds in, but almost unbelievably doesn't seem to accept that amateur companies can't just stage what they like when they like. As we all know, it depends on rights availability along with what else is being done locally by other companies. And amateur companies have to provide stimulating experience for their members who don't want to do the same 3 popular shows on a 3-year cycle. Professional companies working with major producers don't obviously have these problems, and it's partly because of the pandemic that it's especially difficult for amateurs at present, because professional venues like the one referred to above is desperate to fill every available seat every night, and it looks ahead to 2022 after 2 years in the desert. Just finishing now. It has never been easy for amateur companies to stage shows, give members a really good experience and balance the books. That's all part of the fun. The challenges now seem to have reached Everest proportions. It's a long time since I saw or reviewed a non-show pro of any sort. I just hope that companies really can overcome some of this and get out there sooner rather than later to cheer us all up. But it isn't going to be instant. And of course, Susan is not saying in any of that the government isn't seeing this just like you and I, because everyone's making it up as they go along. We've never had a pandemic like this for 100 years or so, especially not in this modern day and age. But it's the management of it that she's talking about. It's how it's being managed, run, how the country's being told to adhere to regulations or whatever, and it's the easing of regulations she's talking about. So there we go. So that's it for now. Have a lovely weekend. If you can, go to the website, have a little look around, look at our tutorials on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's just down here in this corner. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, look at the tutorials. You can register and subscribe if you want to the print issue on the website. If you look at the tutorials, it's easy to do. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well. We will be back. Bye for now.